Welcome. My name is Shahada Kareem. I'm a yoga instructor and a wellness guide in Los Angeles. Tonight, we'll work on poses that help you open up your hips. Hips are a common gathering point for stress, and sometimes if you open the hips and give yourself a little bit of room in the low back area, the quality of your sleep improves. Tonight's lesson is brought to you by Purple. Purple makes the gravity blanket. This blanket is 35 pounds and it distributes weight evenly across your bed and moves with you to hit your pressure points as you sleep. This blanket has a cooling side and a warming side. Tonight I have it on the cooling side because sometimes when you open your hips, you can feel anxious, and feeling anxious might raise your body temperature. We'll start sitting. Bring your right leg in front of you in a cross-legged position and just nestle your butt cheeks into the ground. Relax your shoulders away from your ears. Turn your palms to face down on your legs. Take a big breath in and a big breath out. Then gently place your hands in front of your body. Walk your hands forward and curve your spine so that your head rounds down towards the mat. Keep your butt firmly planted on the mat. You might feel the low back open up a little bit, maybe your hips, especially on the right side. While your head is down, move your body towards the left. Curve your spine and drop your right shoulder down so that you can bring your forehead close to your left knee. Lift your breath up into the back of your right rib cage. Keep your right hip firmly planted down and let your right shoulder round towards the floor. Take a big breath in and a big breath out. From here, round yourself back up to a seat. Lift your shoulders up, back and down, and switch sides. Place your left foot in front. Walk your body forward. Let your shoulders slump forward as you come down. It's okay to really round the spine. Let your head drop. Let your shoulders ease away from your ears. Lift your breath into your back. Take a big breath in and a big breath out. Slide your body over to the right. Drop your forehead down towards your right knee. Slump your left shoulder down so that your spine is really round, and focus on lifting your breath into the back of your left rib cage. Take one more breath in and one more breath out. Roll yourself up, release your shoulders away from your ears, and turn back forward. Now bring the soles of your feet to touch. Take your hands, pass them under your ankles, drop your forearms onto the mat, wrap your fingers around your toes. Let your head drop down, keep your spine nice and loose. Keep rounding your spine so that you can lift your breath up and dome your back. All we're doing is opening up the back so we can get further into the back of the hips and especially into the low back. Breathe slow and deep. Take one more breath in and one more breath out. Round yourself up. Bring your hands out from under you and close your knees. Turn to the side, come to all fours, stack your wrists under your shoulders and your knees under your hips. Then drop your belly, lift your head, lift your hips for cow pose. Round, reach your navel up to the ceiling for cat. Do it again. Drop your belly, lift your head, lift your hips, and then round your spine. Lift your breath up into your back. Last time, cow pose. Drop your belly. And cat pose. Lift your navel. Come back to neutral and stand up on your knees. There are several ways you can do this. You can place your hands on your low back with your fingers facing down for camel pose. Squeeze your elbows backwards and lift your chest. Or you can interlace your fingers behind your back. Press your palms together and really loop your shoulders. Push your tailbone down and lift your head up. As you breathe in, lift your chest. And as you exhale, pull your fists downward and press your hips forward. You'll immediately feel the front of your hips open. You'll feel your low belly open. Go ahead and lean into it. Take one more breath in and one more breath out. Keep your navel tight to your spine as you lift up to protect your spine, and then come back down to all fours. Step your right foot up towards your right hand, slide your left leg back. I'm gonna wiggle my leg under the blanket so that the weight of the blanket keeps my leg anchored to the floor. Come on up to your right thigh and pull your left hip forward. Find your breath. You can push your tailbone down, that helps a lot, and then slide your upper body backwards as you push your low body forward. If you like, you can place your hand in your low back like I am. That helps really guide the hips forward and helps you breathe a little easier without straining. Release your glutes. If you find yourself clenching, just relax. Take a big breath in and a big breath out. Come back up by pressing yourself up and backwards and placing your hands back down on the mat. Walk your right foot to the left side of your mat and flex your right toes. Drop your right knee down, slide your left leg back. Again, I'm sliding my leg under the blanket to keep it firmly anchored. Then walk your hands back towards your hips for half pigeon pose. Press into your fingers, lift your chest up, pull your left hip even more forward. This is a little bit more intense, so breathe into it. Stay upright, drop your shoulders away from your ears. Take one more breath in and one more breath out. Plant your hands in front of you. Push into your hands, that'll help you lift your body up. Pull your right knee back. Walk your left foot forward. Stack your left knee over your left ankle. Slide your right leg back as much as is comfortable. And press yourself up onto your left thigh. That automatically will open up your right hip. Push your right hip forward. If you want, take your right hand, place it into your back. No matter what, brace your core. If you find that your belly is kind of flopping out, pull it back, push your tailbone down, keep your chest nice and high. Take one more breath in and one more breath out. Drop your hands down. Walk your left foot to the right. Flex your toes on the left, just like we did on the other side, and drop the left knee down. Slide your right leg back. Drop your right hip forward and down. Push into your hands. Lift your chest. This might be a little intense, so if it gets really, really intense, just come back a little bit. You can even walk your body forward. That'll take pressure off your right hip. But if you really want to get into the hip, push into your hands, lift your chest. Take one more inhale and one more exhale. And push your hands forward, press your hip up and back on the right. Bring your left knee back. Then sit back down and turn in the opposite direction. Bring your legs out in front of you to start. Flex your toes towards your face. Lift your chest nice and high. Then place your right ankle right behind your left knee. Flex your right toes. Place your hands behind you. Bend your left knee and pull your right shin into your chest. Keep your chest up. You're going to start to feel the stretch on the right IT band, so right along the outer edge of the right thigh, maybe into the back of the right hip. If you don't feel it in the right hip yet, that's okay, because we can go further. So if you want, drop your left shin down, stack your right shin on top. Your ankles and your knees are in the same line, so your shins are flush and you're rooted into your sit bones. Here's where the blanket comes in. Take the blanket, pull it onto your legs. That's going to give you enough pressure to push down. And then from there, you can hinge forward onto the blanket, stretch your arms forward, open up the back of your right hip. You focus on one hip at a time. The more you release, the more you breathe, the easier it is to let the back of your right hip go, to let your low back go. Take a big breath in. One last big breath out. Come on up. Slide the blanket off your legs and switch sides. Start with your legs out, cross your left ankle right behind your right knee. Then bend your right knee and pull your left shin into your chest. Keep your left toes flexed. That'll help protect your left knee. Press your left knee forward, lift your chest up. And when you're ready, drop your right shin down, stack your left shin on top. Nestle into your sit bones and breathe. If this feels good, just like this, stay here. Or if you like, take the blanket, pull it onto your legs. That's going to give you enough pressure to really release and relax. Then when you're ready, slide your body forward, drop your head down. Take one more big inhale. One more big exhale. Slide your body up. Pull the blanket forward. Now the back of your hips should be open enough that we can go into the next pose. So if you need to, open your legs for a minute, bounce out your knees. That's going to neutralize your knees, neutralize your hips. And then bend your knees. Keep your feet separated about hip width distance apart and lift your chest. Let both knees fall to the left. Let your right knee fall in front of your left foot, then twist the left rib cage up and press your right hip forward. If this feels super intense, just stay here or move back a little bit if it gets to be too much. If you want more pressure, take the blanket, lay it on your right leg, really allow it to press your hip forward and down so that you can lift your left rib cage up, lift your chest up, and open up the right side of your thigh and the outer edge of your right hip. Whatever shape you chose, take a big breath in and a big breath out. Come on up. Gently move the blanket out of the way. Lift your knees up. Let them come to the other side. Your left knee will be right behind your right foot. Press into your hands, lift your chest, twist your right rib cage up, then press your left hip or your left butt cheek, if that's an easier engagement, forward in space. If it feels good like this, stay here or take the blanket, lay it on your legs. I'm already heating up, so I'm grateful for the cooling side of this blanket. Lift your chest up and breathe. Take one more big breath in and a big breath out. Come on up. Move the blanket back into position and then bring the soles of your feet to touch. This might feel really intense. So if it's too intense, push your feet away from you. The more you have your feet away from you, the easier it is on your inner thighs, the easier it's going to be in your hip crease. If you can, pull your hips and your heels close together, then take the blanket, lay it right here on your inner thighs, lift your chest up and press your hips forward. No matter what, breathe. Breathing is the key to staying in any of these poses and not clenching up. The more you release, the more you open, the easier it is to find the shape that feels best and that's going to be the most beneficial to you. Whatever you chose, take one more big breath in and one more big breath out. Come on up. Move the blanket. Slide your body back. Let your legs extend in front of you. Bounce out your knees. That's going to feel really good. Maybe roll your legs open and close. That will help. Then come up. We're going to use the blanket as a gigantic bolster. So I'm going to slide it to the center of my mat. Let's see if I can keep the mat as flat as possible. And then build it up a little bit because just gonna lay whole body onto this blanket, right? And it's nice and heavy, so it'll really, really balance me. And I'm gonna step in front of the blanket, drop down, put the edge of my hips right on the end, and lean back so that my head comes down to the mat. You can absolutely stay here. You might automatically feel an opening in your low belly. You might feel a little bit of strain. If you feel strain, slide your hips back. The more you slide your hips back, the easier it's gonna be on them. But if you want, slide them forward, and if you like, bring the soles of your feet to touch, let your knees fall open, let your arms drape out. Now your hips are super open in the front and you're fully supported under your low back because the blanket is carrying all of the stress. So you don't have to arch your back without any strain, You don't have to shorten your breath. Let your breath come long and strong. If you like, you can hang out here. This feels really, really good. Or you can extend your legs out if that feels awesome. It's totally up to you. And honestly, for you, this might be the end. This might be where you hang out, right? This feels really, really good. But I'd like to end with one more pose. So press into your forearms and lift yourself up. Slide your whole body back until your knees are under the blanket. And let the knees just be supported. Lift up and then hinge forward and fold. Just hang out here and breathe. Try to dome your back as much as possible. Lift your breath not just into the back of your ribs, but try to pull your lungs down to the back of your hips. Please take one more breath in and one more breath out. Thank you so much for moving with me tonight. My name is Shahada and it was my honor to be your guide. All of the information about Purple and the Gravity Blanket can be found in the description. Please come back and tune in for more videos from me and from DesireList. Namaste.